Hi guys, so today we're upgrading this MK7.5 GTI with APR Stage 1 ECU software, high torque, and then also the APR DSG software and a full 4-piece Racingline intake kit as well. So we're installing the APR Stage 1 and the DSG software. So we've dynoed the car standard this morning, and then we're going to dyno it later on this afternoon once we've got both softwares on, and then also the 4-piece intake kit as well. So the reason why we're installing the DSG software with the APR Stage 1 high torque is because if you just install the APR Stage 1 high torque with the standard DSG software, then you get some clutch slip. So you install the APR DSG software, we can run the high torque map, and then the customer can enjoy the full potential from the Stage 1. Then also obviously fully de-restricting the intake here as well. So we've got the full 4-piece Racingline kit. So starting off with the R600 Intake. So this replaces the factory airbox. Factory airbox is really restrictive. And then going down to off the back of the airbox, we've got the air intake hose as well. So this replaces the factory sort of like corrugated plastic piece. Smooths out the intake quite nicely. Then we've got the 90-degree intake elbow. So this bolts in between the turbo on this end and then the intake pipe here. We're going to do like a comparison between some of the standard parts and the Racingline parts as well. So you can see just how sort of like restrictive the factory one is compared to the Racingline one, which is like completely open. So it maximizes the flow into the turbo. And then also here we've got the Racingline turbo muffler delete as well. So the standard turbo outlet has basically like 2 chambers inside, which is designed to sort of like muffle the turbo, silence the turbo a little bit. So this is like a single piece straight through design, so you get a little bit more turbo sound and also maximize the turbo as well. So we're going to get all these bits fitted, show you what all fitted, and then put it on the dyno later and show you what the power's like. So we're on the dyno, and we finished off installing the 4-piece intake kit from Racingline. So that's the R600 intake, you've got the turbo inlet hose, the turbo muffler delete, and then the 90-degree elbow as well. So the intake system is like fully de-restricted on this car. We've also installed the APR Stage 1 high torque ECU software. So obviously because we've installed the high torque ECU software, we need to install the DSG software as well to increase that clamping pressure to make sure that the clutches don't slip. So with that, basically you can make the maximum amount of power on Stage 1 without having to put like an exhaust system on the car or any further modifications or anything like that. So the car came in basically making bang on what the power it should be, so about 250 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque. And as you can see, obviously there's massive gains everywhere in the rev range. So the red lines are power, and then the blue lines are torque. The solid lines on this particular graph are the standard power, and then the dotted lines are the tuned power. So massive gains everywhere in the rev range. This car is actually making stock peak power now about 3,700 RPM, and it's making at peak 320 horsepower, and then also around about 350 foot-pounds of torque as well, so massive gains on peak. Then also the max gains in the rev range, you're looking at around about 60 horsepower and around about 70 foot-pounds of torque as well. So massive gains at peak, under the curve, everywhere in the rev range. And the key thing is it's making stock peak power at 3,750 RPM now. So yeah, the car's going to be incredible to drive.